Welcome to the town of Kutna Hora, or as it was known in the early 15th century, Kuttenberg. This is just one of the many locations you'll explore throughout Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. For this month's IGN First, Warhorse Studios art director Viktor Hoschl gave our very own Len Hafer an exclusive tour around this beautiful Bohemian town, offering us some historical insights, as well as a bit of trouble. Enjoy.
Now hold on, wait, what are you doing? Give it back right now!
Hey everybody, I'm Len Hafer for IGN.
And I'm Viktor from Warhorse. So I'm art director at this project, and I'll show you the city.
We're looking at Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Where are we in space and time here?
So we are approaching Kuttenberg city from the west, actually, in the year 1403. The city was besieged by King Sigismund, which is one of the characters from the game. And in this moment, our enemies in the story are ruling the city. So we need to be a bit careful about it. Not everyone is our friend there.
Halt! Search! Show me what you've got on you!
Go ahead and search me. I've got nothing to hide.
Everything in order. Carry on.
Henry's looking really sharply dressed here too.
Yeah, it's also a good thing if you are entering the city to look like the citizen. The way how these cities were built in the medieval time is that closer to the city wall there are poor streets, and you still can see they are pretty similar to what you are used to see in the villages. But as we will be approaching the city center, they will start to use different materials, more of the stone will be used, and so on and so on.
And what made Kuttenberg important during this time?
Mostly silver. It was the first and foremost important thing. The silver was mined around the city and in the city itself. You can see just in front of us there is a part of the mine behind this wall. It's all over the city. There is a lot of tunnels under the city, so it was pretty dangerous. Here you can see also a church just next to the mine. It's also a typical thing that the churches were built in the same place as the mines, so the miners can go there, seek protection. Also, this is one of the things I really like on the city, so we are not bound to walk just on the main streets. Traversability in the city is something we really took care of. We are really proud of it, so you can use these backyards and gardens to get into the places. This is one of the local big taverns.
When I was playing through earlier, it seemed like a lot of the buildings are enterable. It wasn't maybe quite all of them, but a lot of them. Mm-hmm. How do you go about taking sort of the real world city this is based on, not only in the medieval version that you've recreated, but also just a fun place to have a video game?
This is a thing people are asking a lot of times, if this medieval setting and our kind of dedication to being really historically accurate isn't limiting us much. And I would say it's kind of opposite in the way it's really huge sources of inspiration for us. As you learn about this world, how people were building their houses, how society worked, and how they approached the art and everything, it's basically giving you so much interesting things you want to say in the game and show in the game. So it kind of starts to fill and build itself almost. Like it's really, really great. At least I like to build the world this way, to have always as many informations and kind of think. And where we don't have informations, we are trying to fill the blanks. There are of course some things which are connected to AI of the characters, for example, so some places cannot be narrow too much, doors cannot be too small as they were in the medieval time, for example. As we need to change a lot of things, we are trying to do it respectfully to how it was. So it's not as obvious as you may think.
Fruit, vegetables, mushrooms. Come and get some fresh mushrooms.
Do you have any idea roughly how many NPCs live here?
Honestly, I don't know now. It's a lot. Over 100 buildings you can live in, and each of them is, you can see here, for example, in this house, we are entering the tailor shop. So there is tailor living in the house. Also, he has some guard here, usually living in the same space. Like people were actually sharing the space much more than we are doing it now. So it was not just the family, but also all the hands. It was pretty common that they shared the space with people who doesn't have their own home, so they gave them shelter for the winter or something like that. But do you remember when I talked about how whole city is undermined? There are sometimes some like disasters happening, that sometimes maybe whole house gets damaged because of a lot of sinkholes happens, and you as player can take advantage of it. So let's climb this ladder before they will be able to fix this, and let's see what we can find here.
A little bit creepy. So they were mining
Yeah,
literally right underneath
right
the town.
under, yeah. So you can see this is mining tunnel, but cool thing is it's not just the mining tunnels, but they are sometimes directly connected to people's cellars, which are used for various reasons, like you store the food there, but you also can find a shelter there during the wartime or whatnot. So they were somehow interconnected. Someone heard us opening the door, so now they are looking for us. But as you can see now, we are in back side of this store, and we could loot here if we would have time for it. There is nice chest, which I'm sure would be containing some.
Oh, but you can also
and now let's get out of here. So this is something I believe players can really take advantage of. They should explore the city. Don't just use it like you can go here, buy new clothes, sell old ones. Don't be afraid to explore it. There's a lot of things you can find.
What kind of stories and quests do you have in Kuttenberg that maybe wouldn't work in the first game because you were out in the countryside for the most part?
The quests in the city, which I really like, are the one usually connected to some kind of spying, sabotage, or interfering with something. So there's a lot of politics happening behind the scenes. All the culture and political conflicts are happening, and you can become part of it. The life of the people in the city.
These people all have schedules and they have like a bed
Yes.
where they go to sleep and
it's
all
the
that.
same. That's the same as in the villages. You basically can follow them and see where they sleep, kind of
Rob
rhythms.
them.
Rob them, of course. Yeah.
So how do you figure out how things looked in terms of the color and the materials, and are there bits of some of these buildings left?
It's a combination of things. It's some pictures. Then we have a lot of architectural resources. People are digging around those cities, so we know, for example, layout of cellars we were mentioning. That's really helpful to kind of establish where the house was built. I think people would be surprised how many books we had to read to kind of find some things. And it's not just about the architecture itself, but how it was used, how people lived in those houses and what was the structure. So you can, for example, usually in most of these houses there is kitchen in the middle of the house. The heat, which was byproduct of cooking, was used also to heat the whole building. So it was really effective to have it in the middle of the house. And sometimes you would even find a kitchen. Let's see if it's the case here. Yeah, there is the kitchen here in the ground floor, and the chimney goes to the one which is in the first floor. So that is the whole heat center of the house, the heart of the house. A lot of these things basically doesn't look that way because we just found out, but because it has some logic or meaning behind it. There are some houses where we can find just the elements of it. There is one house in the city where if you go into the Kuttenberg these days, you can find one exactly same window as is on the building, but the rest of the building would be different. Some were rebuilt, some of these houses were destroyed during the times, but the layout of the city is usually pretty similar. So you can recognize some streets you are visiting even these days. And of course, the main structures, usually like the castles and churches, are the ones which will stay for the longest time.
So if I've just arrived in the city for the first time and I'm kind of overwhelmed by how big it is and how many people there are, where's somewhere that I could go to find a cool quest or a cool adventure or something like that?
There are two ways how you can get into the city. First, you will just decide for yourself you want to go there and you will rush there because you are interested, which many players will do probably. In that case, I would go as soon as I can into the center and talk to the different people mainly, and you can know it from the rest of the game. If you go into the tavern and ask around, there's probably where you find a job. Also depends what kind of quest you are looking for. There are some shady places in the city, where you can get together with some local criminals, do something interesting with them. Other case would be the main story will lead you there naturally, and that would be pretty seamless. And that's what I would recommend to people to do, because the story will guide you through the city.
So you mentioned crime. How does law and order work in Kuttenberg?
You know, in medieval times in Bohemia, for example, to hang someone wasn't something you could do just because you are lord, head of the city council. People valued their lives and lives of the other people, like because they considered it as a gift from God. So they wouldn't kill each other as carelessly as we kind of think, maybe. But in Kuttenberg, that's one of the places where, in behind the city, there is actual place, small hill with gallows, and it was used for hanging the severe criminals. So that's one of the new things. In KCD2, you cannot do the crimes and just get by with small prison time or something. Maybe first they will just put you in the stocks overnight, then they brand you if you do something severe, or you repeat your crimes and you will become known criminal, and eventually you can get hanged, and this punishment will be done outside of the city. Again, they will not kill you in the perimeter of the city. It's not allowed to kill someone in the city itself, but behind the walls there is a dedicated place for it. And even if you commit a crime punishable by death, in some smaller villages around, they will bring you to the same place, to the city. That's showing how important the city is for these big decisions like hanging someone. So now we are entering one of the biggest squares in the city. You can see this big building, which is actually a town hall. There is important politics happening. City council is meeting here. There is a small jail inside of it. We actually needed to be a bit creative about this building because it burned down sometime in the history, so it's not standing there anymore. It was rebuilt 3 times in different places in the city, but we spoke about the way how we reconstruct stuff before we can get inspiration from other Czech cities, how the city town halls looked like, or even some German town halls. So it was kind of reconstructed to best of our knowledge.
Be careful.
Next place of power, of course, it's the treasury. That's in this castle, which is standing in the city. You can see it has its own walls around it. It's not easy to get inside in the game, but try hard, you can do that. There is all the money for the kingdom is minted there and also stored and then distributed to the kingdom. So they will definitely not let you go inside just like that, but it has really important role in the story. You will eventually be able to get there if you try hard enough.
Kind fellow, could you help me with something?
Oh, yes. Sure. What is it you need?
I lost something, and I can't find it for the life of me.
Oh, is this guy suspicious at all?
Be damned! It must be around here somewhere. It couldn't have vanished into thin air.
What are you looking for?
My leather satchel. I put it down here for a moment, and now it's gone.
Where did you put it?
Somewhere around here. I made sure it wouldn't be in plain sight. At least I think I did. My stomach started churning so bad, everything went blurry. So I shucked it off.
You need to be careful around the people in the city. They are usually trying to get richer. There are usually folks coming from the villages to find some quick money, and not everyone do it the nice way.
Guy's trying to contact me about my horse's extended warranty.
Seems so.
It's all over. It's nowhere to be found. I'm in heaps of shit now. If I don't find it, I'm done for. All my tools are in there. Fine jewellery too. Gold, silver, cut stones. A fortune, you know. Everything I own.
Now hold on, wait, what are you doing?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and you can see, since we have pretty high thievery skill, we are able to catch him. Yeah, and this is what I was talking about, like, not just you, but other people will use the city for their advantage.
But he's still out there somewhere, right?
he's
Like
still,
he doesn't despawn.
I think you'll
Yeah.
be able to find him eventually
Yeah.
in the city if you remember his face.
For more from our IGN First on Kingdom Come 2, make sure to check out our exclusive hands-on preview, or our gameplay video covering the first 43 minutes of gameplay.